Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 Technical Advisory Committee for the NVTA. Chairman Boyce, we do not have a physical quorum, so our first action item for the summary notes can't be voted upon, but if we have any comments.
Yes, I wanted to note that at the bottom of page 3, the very last sentence, I noted that intrazonal truths were probably generated by the model, but not assigned. I doubt that I said to a jurisdiction. I might have just said not assigned or not assigned to the network.
Fair enough. Hope we can make that change for our next get together. Wonderful. With that, Doctor, thanks.
Presentation. Yes. Thank you, Chair Boyce and members. We walk you through the process that's currently on the slide, the 4 major components and their criteria under each one of them. We went through it last time. We just mentioned about one of the questions, Dr. Shu, you had. We will come back to that. But the criteria we walked you through, we finished all the analysis. We now have in the packet, we shared all the results of those analysis. We'll just walk you through that this time. There is no funding recommendations yet. This is still based on the analysis what we are seeing for each of those projects, and then ranked or listed by the condition reduction relative to cost ranking. That's how we usually present it. As I mentioned in the last meeting, by law we have to give preference to that particular factor. So that's why we show all the evaluations in that ranking. Summary of applications, I'm not going through it. You saw those 2 slides last time. 27 applications, one from different jurisdictions, 8 jurisdictions, a good mix of all modes. Next one. Usually where in the jurisdictions, as you can see, a concentration of applications from Arlington compared to the rest of the region. Next. CRRC rating. Again, just to remind, we look at each project separately and see how much congestion reduction is achieved by each of those projects in 2045, in 2030, extrapolate those numbers for all the intermediate years, sum the annual reduction from the year it is completed until 2045. Divide that by the total project cost. So in this slide, in this table, you can see we look at those in that ranking, congestion reduction relative to cost ranking. Wow. Big difference, huh?
How do you get a 60 on a bus rider information system?
Very cheap.
Well, yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Smokes, but
in the past cycle, I can point out one thing here. In the past, almost all the cycles where we had any of these sort of technology projects, they're always ranked at the top. Their just actual number of hours reduced might be low compared to some of the bigger projects, but the cost is also much lower. So
yeah,
the rating
that.
is to the top.
60.
Good investment.
Yes.
That project is basically adding more information through displays in the bus, at the bus stops, QR codes for people to check and see when their next bus is coming, all kinds of latest information, which allows people to use transit better or more efficiently. So expect more people to use transit because of all those facilities, and that reduces the condition a bit.
Just clarifying the so NVTA funding only cover the capital costs.
Yes.
So you only cover whatever you need to invest to enable that technology.
Correct.
But for operation or continuous operation, that is not part of it.
No. Just the question. Yeah, you're right. Only the capital improvements. Yeah.
So it costs more.
Yeah. I
Uh,
was gonna say 2.5 million for implementing the applications and stuff. Okay. Sorry.
That's all right. So you see the two technology projects at the top. Then you see a couple of road improvement projects.
One of my favorites there. There we go. Now we're talking.
Your neighborhood probably. Van Buren Road, Route 15 Railroad Overpass, Route 15 North Collector Road, which is creating a parallel route to Route 50 between Tall Cedars Parkway and Route 28. That stretch experiences a lot of.
Is that still going through the airport property?
Yes, at the border, at the boundary.
Right, yeah, it's on the south
It's
side.
touching the boundary, so the security features like the fencing or
They
the
still
that
have
have to be moved further north a little bit, just for
crossing. There was a crossing for the air.
Yes, from the airport to
Planes.
the museum.
Yeah,
Yes, that will still be there. They will create an intersection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then connect it to that that particular part of the parkway
yeah,
there.
that's railroad crossing gates without a railroad.
That's that project. Richmond Highway BRT, you have seen that almost several cycles in the past. We have provided a lot of funding to that project. So they are in process of getting FTA funding, CAG funding. I think that 346 million it's in their list, but no contracts have been signed or anything. It's in the process, but not sure when, what will happen to that. So based on that, county is requesting NVTA to fund that entire gap, including that 365. And the next project, Dale City Transit Priority Project, that's again creating bus-only lanes, bus and HOV lanes during peak hour on peak direction on Miniville Road. That's that project. Then you see a series of either intersection improvements or bike path improvement projects from Arlington. There is a Duke Street Transitway project. Again, if you remember, NVTA has funded the Duke Street Transitway project 87 million in the past. This particular request will add a grade intersection on Van Dorn and create a bus-only lane from Duke Street to Van Dorn and cross into the Landmark Mall. That area now being greened out. So there will be a transit center there.
So that what is now a grade separation will
There is a
become-
grade separation now, so buses have to go through further down to the west and then get into the mall area and then loop through their road system there to get into where the transit center would be. So this will allow them a more direct access. Then 234 Trail at Innovation Park is in Prince William County along to Route 234. On the east side, I think they will create a trail, multi-use trail, and then a pedestrian bridge, multi-use bridge over 234 to the other side. So that's improving bike pedestrian connections in that area. Again, a set of Arlington projects doing intersection improvements, mostly multi-use improvements, trails, sidewalks, bike paths, things like that. City of Falls Church, 2 projects there, one Annandale Road, multimodal improvements, the between, in Annandale area, between 2 intersections, there is sidewalk, but it is probably 3 feet. So, and it's not ADA compliant, so they are making all those improved wider sidewalks, better sidewalks, crosswalks, pedestrian face in the signals and things like that. Going down, City of Falls Church has another project, Haycock Road Shade Use Path. NVTA has funded a shade use path from WM Trail up to the intersection of Route 7 and Haycock. This will take that trail further up north and then connect it with the metro station, East Falls Church metro station. So that connection for multi-use path will be complete from the WNOD trail all the way to the metro rail station. City of Manassas has a trail project that will run parallel to the VRE line, Manassas line, starting in Prince William near Manassas, downtown Manassas, going through downtown Manassas Park, and connecting it to the Bull Run trail in Fairfax County. Colonial Highway Pedestrian Safety Improvements Project in Loudoun County. This is in the town of Hamilton. That's on Route 7. No.
7 business.
7 business. So that location, again, heavy traffic, but no proper sidewalks or any other pedestrian facilities there. So they are creating that pedestrian-friendly amenities across that town's boundary, most of the town boundary in that segment. Town of Herndon, South Eldon Street corridor improvements, a small, short segment of South Eldon Street where, again, they are repurposing the entire road section to make sure more streamlined traffic happens, better medians and sidewalks, wider sidewalks, things like that.
I think we started funding that when I first started.
You are done with it. City of Alexandria's Eisenhower Avenue and South Van Dorn Street corridor improvements. Again, more making those areas better pedestrian friendly. On Eisenhower itself, taking out one lane on each direction and converting that space into sidewalk and bike lanes, and taking out one of the left turn lanes at the intersection so that much less turn movements there, safety improvements, things like that in that location. Finally, the courthouse metro station access improvements. You know that metro station, there is one elevator there, which is pretty small and probably not, that is the only way a person with disability, handicapped person can get into the station there. But that itself is a very narrow elevator, congested elevator. It takes time for people to go in and out using that. So county is proposing to take that out, put a bigger one, and add one more. So 2 brand new. One will be a replacement improvement. The other will be brand new. 2 elevators at that location. But as you see, this is the kind of ranking when we looked at congestion reduction compared to the total cost.
You know, it's interesting. Not so many years ago, pedestrian bike advocates got very upset when adding highway capacity was described as an improvement. Now we're adding pedestrian and bike accommodations and describing them as improvements. Maybe we should just say modifications. Maybe we shouldn't be judgmental in how we describe the project.
I will leave it at that. There are different ways to look at the same project, or different projects, whether it is road or bike improvements. Is it improvement? Yes. Is it modification? Yes.
Or measuring by benefit, that's an
Yes.
improvement, right?
Sometimes it's debatable.
Next slide. So next one looks at transaction rating. This is those 10 performance measures that are weighted, and then you combine all that to get one rating. So this is not just congestion reduction. It includes congestion reduction. And as you can see, the first, I think the 4 measures are all congestion reduction, and they should add up to 40 then. Yeah. So that, again, congestion reduction measures have a higher percentage, but then we also looked at all these other factors. Some of them were mentioned in our legal codes where they mentioned you had to look at A, B, and C. So safety and accessibility. I think the last one, the surge in person hours of travel, but essentially saying that if there is a surge of demand on the network, how well the project can handle that. So these were all, some of these were mentioned in those legal documents. So we included them and expanded them to have these 10 measures, kind of walked you through how we calculate them last time. Here, the score, if you look at, you can see it's the larger project essentially, which has a lot more features, covers more length, or in terms of the scope, a bigger scope. Those projects get higher ranking because they have higher impact on all these different measures, not just congestion reduction, but all these other measures too. So here you can see the top few of them are Richmond Highway BRT, Route 50 Collector Road, Duke Street Transitway, East Street Multimodal Improvement, Dale City Transit Provider, so and so on. If you have any questions on either of these ratings, I will take that before I move on.
I find the distribution of the ratings.
Pardon?
I find the distribution of
Yeah.
the ratings that there are a couple that are very high and then it declines
Yes.
very sharply.
Yeah.
Has
So-
that been true in the past, or have there been
I-
closer? Has it been a more gradual decline in
It
the
depends on the pool of applications we receive. And if the Richmond Highway BRT, for example,
Yeah.
is a huge project.
Yes,
So it kind of grabs all the thing and it gets the top, and then rest of the projects compared to that may not be having that level of impact. So that's why you see
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean,
see the gap.
it's 70-30 and then, 20s and so on.
Yeah.
The ratings.
I want to say before we got we did not used to have so many columns. It was the congestion reduction was, 80% or whatever it was. And then everything else was just white noise behind that. Now that we've done this, I have noted, I think last year or a year before, maybe it could be 5 years, who knows? The ITS projects were really high,
Uh-huh.
and then the roadway stuff was down below.
Yeah, I mean,
Now
even
it's
if you
seeing
just look
something
at,
similar here.
at the congestion, the auto person hours of delay reduction. I mean, there's a couple projects. Yeah, there's one, of course, the top one is at 100%, but then the next one is at 50 and 47. And then everything else is down less than 10. That's,
That's scaling.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Depending on the project scale comparison.
Def-
cost.
definitely before we got this many columns in the past couple of years, it used to really be, if you could increase capacity and move people quicker, it was right up to the top. Not that this isn't doing it. I mean, bus rapid transit will move people
Yeah.
quicker and get people off the road. I get it, yes.
Okay, next slide then, long-term benefits. This is from the previous cycle, just to give a comparison, we have both previous cycle and current one. This is from the last round when we did it. As already explained, long-term benefit calculations were kind of evolved over time, and without much legal clarity, we had to come up with, or authority had to come up with principles how we will do it and then operationalize it through various ways. So the chart is basically showing the red dot there is the share of the revenues from each jurisdiction compared to the total revenues NVTA received. The two other dots, the orange and blue dots there, they show the two ways of calculating congestion reduction. One is within jurisdiction, how much congestion reduction happens. The other is based on the congestion reduction experienced by the trips made from a jurisdiction. So it gives us a range. In some cases, you can see the range in the chart. Some cases it's not there. It's pretty close to each other. So that's what we charted. And kind of I mentioned last time, but now we have a name to those jurisdictions. The first column you see is Arlington. There is more, the share of the revenue is higher than the share of the benefit they get. The fourth one is Prince William County, where they are receiving more benefit than the share of revenues they brought to the table. So this is from the previous cycle. I'll go to the next slide. For those two, not a big difference. There is some difference, but not a lot. The same kind of, the direction of those difference is still the same. So Arlington has less benefit than their revenue share. Prince William has more benefit than their revenue share. Everything else is kind of in the range. So there is not much change based on the last round of 6-year program funding. And we have kept still saying that we cannot just change it every cycle. It will take multiple cycles to make those changes. And it also depends on the kind of applications we receive from those jurisdictions and the rest of the pool, how their projects rank in the process, how much money is requested, and all those factors. So there is not a lot of difference from last cycle to this cycle. That is essentially what it is. Next one. Quality measures. In the screen, you only see the colored one. We have a handout that I separately took out for you all that hopefully you can read. That's on your table. Essentially, all the measures we talked till now, those are the quantitative measures. These are the qualitative measures. So what we are looking at is, even if NVTA provide all the funding requested to a project, will that project have funding gap? If yes, which particular phase or phases? If there is no gap, then fully funding that project means we are expecting that project to be completed because now they have all the funding required. If not, it's still a gap. We are putting money, but the jurisdiction applicant still needs to go and find more money to complete the project. So that's why if it is fully funded, it's good. If still there gap, not that good. So that's how we look at that color coding there. The second column is local priority, which again may not match with our ranking and all, but if there are two projects from the same jurisdiction, we can fund only one of them, and all other factors being equal, we can pick, okay, then the local priority can come into play and the higher priority project can get funded. Third column is external funds. That also we are saying if you are bringing more funds from other sources, NVTA is going to get a good project for a small investment compared to putting all the money in that project. So if you're bringing more money from other sources, that gets a higher rank there. The next 4 columns are looking at past performance. So when we fund projects, it's not a grant money that we just pay. It's a reimbursement funding. They have to first spend from their pocket, show us the bills, and then approve that the work they did and the money they spend is actually on the scope that we agreed on. We review that and then we reimburse that amount. We have been asking them to provide us accordingly when you will spend it, when you will submit us the bills, show that schedule, and then we track that. Did they committed that this is how we are going to spend, when we are going to spend? Did they follow that or they deviated from that? If deviated, how far? The more deviation you are having, that means your performance is not that good. For whatever reason, we look at those reasons and try to address that separately, but in here, we are looking at those factors. So as a jurisdiction, how good you are performing with the money we gave you. If same project is coming back for more money, for example, in this case, Richmond Highway BRT, we already funded, they're coming back for more money. We specifically know how the project performed in that particular criteria. So we look at the project level and at the jurisdiction. So those 4 columns reflect that. Again, if you're keeping close to what you told us that how you will progress the project, then that's good. If you are delayed, deviated for a lot, then that's not that good.
The code on here is the same as her, the colors.
Yes, same.
Is it always true that green is better than brown, or is there,
Yes, that's
Yeah.
how we put that. Green is always better.
so?
All right, then the next 2 or 3 columns, the policy 29 non-compliance, 2 of them, and SPA with no invoice for 12+ months. These are again based on some of the criteria that we look to make sure the project progress on time. So the policy 29 compliance says once the funding is appropriated for the project, authority has to take action to actually spend the money before jurisdiction we can pay the reimbursement. So when the project is ready to start spending money, they come to NVTA saying that now we want to appropriate the funds for this project. Usually that happens in March or April authority meeting during the budget cycle. Then the jurisdictions have 3 authority meetings in which they bring an agreement with additional details and then get it executed by the authority. Means authority approves that, okay, this agreement is good. Now, based on that, you can start spending the money. Do this within 3 NVTA meetings after appropriation happens. Are they doing fine on that criteria or not? That is the first column. No, the second column. The first column is once you have that appropriation within the next 18 months, you have to show substantial progress in that project. Means you have to start showing us that you are spending the money that we will give you. So that's the first column. Second column is that have the agreement executed. As you can see, that one is all green. So everyone met that criteria. The next one I said is the SPA with no invoice for 12+ months. SPA is the standard project agreement. They did all these 2 parts correct. They did the agreement within 3 meeting cycles. They started showing us progress in the 18 months, but at some point it just dropped off, and we are not seeing any reimbursement request for more than. So something happened with the project. It's stuck somewhere. So we don't want that to happen. If that happens, we want to know why that is happening, things like that. So that's another way to check the progress of the projects at project level and jurisdiction. Then the one with a lot of browns there, that's year of opening. The one before that is the green. Sorry, the green first fiscal year of expected drawdown is the one that shows all dark green except one that is light green. Again, the first year they can request funding through this cycle is fiscal year 30. Are you starting in 30 or you are starting in 31? They have to start in one of those years for requesting funding in this cycle. As you can see, all projects except one they're promising at this point that they will start in fiscal 30. The other project is on 31. The one project is in 31, which is fine. But then the next column is where we are seeing year of opening. How fast will you complete these projects? Within next 3 years, or within next year, 2 year, 3 year? When will it complete? In itself, it's not a negative thing because a large project probably will need multiple years to finish. But we are trying to see, once NVTA put the money in, how fast we are going to get the benefits. So the completion date earlier means you are going to accrue all those benefits that we saw in the previous two slides faster, earlier. The next three of them, equity, safety, and sustainability. If you remember at the last cycle, we provided an option for jurisdictions to submit a statement that tells us how each of these projects align with the three core values: equity, safety, and sustainability. We did an analysis of how we presented it to you all last time too. How we do that, we use the same methodology this time again and came up with how well they align. But this time we made it mandatory for all the applicants to submit those alignment statement for each of the application. So last time it was not everyone submitted, it was not mandatory. We were testing it out. This time we made it mandatory, we did that analysis. As you can see, they are either green or yellow, which means there is good alignment or medium level of alignment. The last one, long-term benefit, you already saw how that performance came through, and we just showed it in the color context, high, medium, low levels. Or green is all, I think green is both Arlington and Alexandria, where you saw they're underperforming. So in a way, underperforming means you should get more benefits, you should get more funding, more projects. So that's why it shows as green in here. And for Prince William, it's the opposites. They're overperforming. So theoretically, they shouldn't get more funding or less. Again, as we said, we are not going to make those kind of decisions every cycle. It might take multiple cycles to come to that balancing. The past cycle, Keith, I'm looking at you. I think we used that criteria, long-term benefit criteria, in the past cycle, a couple of cycles.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cycles back, there was one Prince William County project that would have got recommended, and one Arlington County project that would not have got recommended, but because of long-term benefit, we flipped that. So it's like the lowest performing Prince William County project that would have got recommended was not recommended. And the highest performing Arlington project that was not recommended, when we looked at long-term benefit, we recommended that project be done. That's the only instance where we've applied long-term benefit in a recommendation. But the factors that prevailed at that time still prevail today, that Prince William is overperforming, Arlington is underperforming. And so we obviously we're not going to decide this until later in the process, but we may have to consider the same thing, picking a Prince William County project that will not get recommended, Arlington project that will get recommended, specifically because we're trying to balance the long-term benefit a little bit better. We don't want to get too far so that it becomes impossible to reconcile, but we're not going to put it all right in a single cycle either.
All right. That's all I have on this slide. Next one, budget.
So I'd like-
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go
I'll
ahead.
just comment on the cost numbers. I'll wait till you get to that chart.
Okay. All right, the next slide is again project description form. As I mentioned last time too, we created all this information into 2-page summary for each project. I have printed them out for you because it's 27 times 2. And in some cases, it happened that when you create a PDF, it flips into the next page. So we have like 27 times 2 plus another 2 or 3 projects have 4 pages. So I didn't want to print everything for you, but it is available on our website. The link is on the slide. So you can go to the website. The next slide actually shows us website, web page for 6-year program. And We have that segment called public engagement. We are getting ready for the public engagement, and all these materials are posted at that location. So anyone can go open up any of these files, and all the project description forms are available where project description, a basic idea about the course and schedule, some of these analytical results, and a map of the location all are available in that particular web page and then in these forms. Probably is the last slide. So Frank, if you have any questions, you can take it now.
Well, it's just a comment on the cost numbers. I noticed most of the costs and requests for NVTA funds are rounded to the nearest $1,000. But a couple of them must have very confident estimators because they've estimated the cost down to the nearest dollar. And I think it would be more appropriate to present all the costs, maybe rounded to the nearest 1,000.
Totally agree with you. I think jurisdictions do their best effort to come up with the cost estimates through various. Probably you have been part of all those calculations. Many of you probably have been part of those calculations. So some
Only
of
the
them
ones
take it
that-
very serious.
Only the ones that round up to 1,000.
Yeah. No. Yes. No, that we have seen that every cycle, some applications we see that round it up to the last dollar. All right, so then the last slide is about the cycle. It's the same, same as you saw last time. The change was that in March, we said NVTA approves the date of public hearing, which happened, which will, now the public hearing date is May 14th authority meeting that night. So we will have the public hearing first, and then authority will move on to their business meeting. Public engagement, the comment period will start April 2nd, go through May 17th, which is 3 days after the public hearing. So even after public hearing, there will be a few more days for an opportunity for people to comment. And so April is kind of not much things happening. There's nothing much for us to bring to you at this point. May, we will bring, although if you remember, we moved your May meeting to the 4th Wednesday. That is to coincide with that time frame where we can finish the public engagement, collect all the comments, process them, and bring to you what that is telling us. That's what we will do in May meeting. And then in June, based on these evaluations that we just presented and the public comment, staff will bring funding recommendations to you all. As in the past, you can either endorse as it is, or if you want to make modifications to that recommendations, we will take whatever you recommend to the planning and programming committee, as which then looks at staff recommendation, your recommendation, the recommendation from the other statutory committee, planning coordination advisory committee, put them together, and they will come up with a recommendation to the authority. So authority will then consider it in July. That's the next set of steps. I think that's all I have.
Any questions? Since we haven't changed the minutes, we have a quorum now.
Yes, now we have a quorum, correct.
Since we have the change, I guess we could make a motion to approve them as noted or not accept them.
Now that
Move to accept them as noted.
Second.
Okay. Any opposed? Good, that's taken care of.
Sorry, okay, you seconded?
yes,
She did, yep.
Thank you.
You playing the part of Ms. Backman?
Mr. Jasper.
I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, you are. Just setting you up, pal.
I don't have very much. I do a report that transaction, our long-range plan. We had a kickoff meeting with the ICF team on March 12th, and there's nothing for you to worry about regarding the long-range plan right now. But your meetings in the fall, we will have some topics to bring to you for discussion and probably action as well in the fall. Next Wednesday, March 25th, is our 11th annual transportation roundtable. I hope if you plan to go, you've already signed up, because we've maxed out on registrations now. But if you haven't signed up and you are interested in going, let myself or Alyssa know. We'll do what we can. If we get word of cancellations, we can maybe make some adjustments. But that's next Wednesday, and we're very excited. For the first time, we're able to offer APA credits for the event. So that's good for the planners. The next NVTA meeting is April 9th. As of right now, we don't think it's going to be a particularly heavy
No.
agenda.
No.
But anyway, that's April 9th. As Shreya just mentions, that the May meeting, that will be the public hearing for the 6-year program and the public comment period around that. During that public comment period, on April 30th, the Tyson's Community Alliance, Tyson's Community Alliance is holding a transportation event, and they've invited us to attend. So we're not doing any pop-ups or open houses for the 6-year program public comment period. We typically do not do those, but that event is during the public comment period, so we will be able to talk, more one-on-one with folks who are interested at that event. That's it.
If I may add, so usually VDOT hosts a joint agency meeting in spring where VDOT, DRPT, NVTA, NVTC, PRTC, TPB, all of us go there. Any materials we can present, we will have our boards and staff manning that open house area, and then there is a hearing too, I think.
There is a hearing.
There is a hearing where all those agency leads will be at the table, and then any public comments people have to provide, they can do that time. So we don't know if that didn't happen last year. VDOT is still working on whether they will have it or when they will have it. So if that happens, then that will be another place we will be going. A third place is Bike to Work Day.
Oh, yeah.
That comes in that time frame too.
Yeah.
So we usually go to 1 or 2 locations where our team have a table and things like that. And we usually, it usually comes in within that time frame. So we will have our boards with all this information out there also.
And we may well be in Arlington for
Yes.
Bike to Work Day, which is good since we've got so many projects from Arlington.
Another question. You mentioned APA credits. How about professional engineering, PDH?
I wish we could get that.
We haven't
Next
yet got into that. So we were first trying to figure out how to do this. So we did it for the first time.
Okay.
We will explore other options
They
too.
don't engineer,
it was
they don't
fun.
engineer here, they plan.
Yeah, that's the major point really, is that we mostly have AICP certified folks here. We don't have any PEs, but we do have one.
Mm-hmm.
Who's joined us recently. So
But at the meeting,
yeah, these things normally take.
I have no idea what you have to do to get.
You kind of have to go for a negotiation to meet the requirements.
Actually says, yes, this meeting qualifies for credits.
APA Virginia chapter.
Well, it's for planning. How about for engineering?
I don't know.
ITE is one of them, Institute of Transportation Engineers,
IT.
and they have a lot of local chapters.
Yes, I know. And I get credits for when I attend IT
Yes.
meetings.
We'll look at that for next year. We kind of have to negotiate with the association so that
they could be satisfied that the content is worthy of
Yeah,
credit.
but it's Virginia law that says engineers have to get certain. If you're a professional engineer, you have to get a certain number of credit hours every 2 years. What is it, 2 days worth of 16 hours or something? Every 2 years.
Depends on the state too. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think Virginia is 16. And I don't know who says, yes, that qualifies as a,
Well, back in the, Stone Knife Bearskin days, it was, if you went to attended an event that
Mhm.
talked engineering, you could say, I learned stuff here, and that would be credit. I think
Yeah, the
Michelle
professional-
Cavucci and I went through
Professional
that.
associations usually have those sort of learning objectives.
Yeah.
These are the
Are you
objectives.
nodding your head,
Which
Michelle?
ones will you meet, how you meet, things like that.
Is she listening to me?
man, I think I should be able to claim attending these meetings as part of my professional.
Thing. Was,
Give it a whirl, Frank.
am I remembering that right? That there was a time where you could save the program of wherever you went and you could claim that as hours?
I think now they all get some sort of accreditation though. Is my
Right.
understanding now, but I can look back into my Stone Age records, Randy, that you mentioned.
Stone Knife Bearskin.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I don't, it's not the case anymore, so it's not worth your time. I'm
Yeah.
just, that used to be the case.
It did.
That's all we have.
And I think that's all we have. So,
I have a quick question.
okay.
What if you can't remember if you signed up for the roundtable?
We
I
can,
can check for you.
Thank you.
Sign up again, they'll take your money.
No cost. So-
Oh, it's free.
Free.
See, they'll still take your money. No money. All right, make a motion to
Move adjourned.
adjourn, and we all second, we don't